Professionally, Professor Emerita Mary Holmes taught for over 60 years. She was a charming, provoking, and inspiring speaker, horse lover, and artist. She taught art history at the State University of Iowa, Ohio State University, UCLA, and in 1965 became one of the original faculty members at the University of California, Santa Cruz, where she taught until retiring in 1975. She left behind many devoted students when she passed at 93 years in 2002.
I believe that the artist has the power of the imagination to make the invisible visible. And this is essentially what he does. It's very hard for us as human beings to believe in anything which is invisible. It's just very difficult for us. So that by that you just you obliterate such a thing as love, which can't be touched or felt or measured or anything else, but which we know is real. The artist does it just as much in a car ad as he does in a Madonna and Child. That is, if you look at a car ad, what is it doing? It's trying to make the invisible nature of the car, its speed, its power, its sleekness, its modernness, its machine perfection, and make that visible to anybody, because we all know what a car looks like. But to show the things that it has that are invisible, it is a mystery how somebody does. You think, for instance, of something like the image of Christ. Now, when I say the image of Christ, I know pretty well what comes into your mind. I know pretty well, because it's an established image. And in fact, if you saw somebody who looked like Christ, that is, had a beard and a solemn expression, slightly long hair, not in a business suit, you would say, "Oh, say, you look like Christ." And they could deal with that any way they wished. But it is an image that we all know. Why? Because artists have made it familiar. I have a definition of art that is anything made by a human being. Anything. Now, the nicest thing about that definition is that right away you see that there are some things which are good and some which aren't. As this is art, but it's lousy. And that's an important thing to be able to say, because we have such a kind of idea. We use the word art as if it meant excellence, or if it meant something very well done. You think of people saying, "Well, she's an artist in the kitchen." Well, you hope that her art isn't like Jackson Pollock. And it is, when people say, "Is it art?" they mean, can it possibly be art? and you have to tell them firmly, yes, it is, but it's lousy. So you don't have to worry with it anymore. You certainly don't have to have any great respect for it. It is it really is clearly something which is on a scale. I mean, there are things which are absolutely extraordinary. I mean, so that everybody knows about it. It's Sistine Chapel or something, and it is extraordinary. And it is an act of the imagination which has not been surpassed. It never was equaled actually in one person. In the society, it's equal, but not in one person. So that was an extraordinary thing which Michelangelo was able to do, and almost no one else in the world. And that's a mystery, of course, of art. Don't even think of it for a moment. Why is there only one Beethoven? Why is there only one Shakespeare? There are hundreds of millions of people live in. And no matter how much you try to flog somebody like Bacon instead of Shakespeare, or some of the other people that were writing at the same time, they're not that good. They're just not that good. That's all there is to it. that in another 100 years the word art will never be used, because the word was never used at any time when any society was at its height. It was never used. The words that the Greeks used when they spoke about people was technic, skill. This person was a skilled person. Because what? Because he could make the thing visible that we can't see and that we want to see. I mean, that's the whole thing. And when you have that skill, it's very, very precious. But no one ever used the word artist until in the late Renaissance, when they began to get an idea of the artist, and of course then it increased into the 19th century when the Romanticism made the artist a very special, really inspired figure like a bard or like a great poet. Now I feel as though it's rather unkind of me. I've often thought that I ought to include the bowerbirds because they have very great artistic discrimination, and they build a pathway to the nest that the lady bowerbirds who come later will walk down and choose. And the males go through exactly the same thing that people go through. They'll pick up a piece of glass and put it there, and then they run back and they look at it, and then they think, oh, that's not it, and then they put it somewhere else, and then, oh, now that's it, pretty good. But what they are doing is making something that is supposed to enchant the ladies, you see, because then they come up, they just walk around and look at all these things like renting something, it's an open house day for the bowerbirds. Then she thinks, this is a suitable mate for me, because he's made this nice looking thing. Well, that seems to me an artistic decision. And one, I think, has many parallels. But it's not a difference of intention, it's a difference of really the whole conception of what you're doing. And so I have to exclude them and say that anything which is made by man, who is a maker and will always make something, can be considered art. Well, it seems to me that people have been frightened out of being able to judge the simplest thing. We go so much for experts, We think that this is an expert who says that this is good, and if you don't see it, it's your fault. I don't blame the artist, I blame the people who put up with it. Because the artist wanted to make out, Though it was bought and sold, it was not thought of as a commodity, as something which you could just, you needed a certain number of them, or you needed a certain one. Not that at all. So, and that, of course, still prevails. And as soon as something becomes a commodity, you have the problem of marketing it. And when there are thousands and thousands and thousands of artists, which there are, producing things which in many ways are absolutely identical, or as much as your handwriting is, what is the one going to do that really wants to sell something? Well, he's just got to have a gimmick. And I've had graduate students, I remember at UCLA, there was a young man who was, was pretty successful in terms of graduate work and painting. And he said, I just don't have a gimmick. I don't know how I'm going to get anywhere. And the next thing I heard, he had a gimmick, which was to glue blue jeans to canvas. And he was very successful. I mean, he was successful not only in gluing, but seeing other people that this was something. It was a gimmick, you see, that would sell it. It would only sell it a certain length of time, and only to a certain number of people. But then you can think of something else. You can glue something else. Shoes.